Am I the butthole for calling my grandma by wrong name until she gets my name right? This has going on since forever, so decided to do something. I'm 16 male, half Mexican from my dad's side and my mom's side is Scottish. Not going to lie, but most of my mom's family is high-key racist and has been a problem sometimes growing up. My grandma on my mom's side never liked my dad and was happy after they divorced when I was 7. My name's Emiliano and my grandma always complained how hard she tried to change my parents' minds, and it's a shame I got stuck with it. I'm actually proud of it. My dad told me about the revolutionary I was named after and their history. But literally my entire life my grandma refuses to say it. She says it's too many syllables. I got a cousin named Alexandria and they say the whole name, and always came up with her own names. She says Leo, or once tried to get everyone to call me Elliot as a nickname for a while. Obvious my mom's family was for it, but my dad refused that because it's not my name. Is always the same thing when I see them? She'll call me Leo or whatever. Even when I correct her she says it's not a big deal and keeps calling wrong name. I told my mom I don't like it, but she always say I'm just not going to change her mind and no point in fighting it. So I decided if she not going to want to call me by my actual name and not going to call her grandma or say her right name. It's stupid I know, but it's bothering me more that she don't care, and all my other cousins she says their name's fine, no nicknames. Her name is Susan, so I decided to call her Sandy. To be honest, I was scared to say it, but that look on her face was worth it, laughing my butt off. It wasn't surprised Pikachu face, but it was close. She said that is not how I address her and it's grandma. I told her nah, I'm going to call her Sandy from now until she says my actual name. It got awkward. My mom was serious and my grandma got super red in the face. She started ranting about me being a effing disrespectful child, and this is all my dad influencing me again. My mom told me I need to apologize immediately, but I don't know what gave me the balls to not do it. We ended up leaving their house early and my mom didn't talk to me until we got home. She say what I did was out of line and I don't disrespect my elders ever. She wants me to apologize and I'm grounded until I do. Haven't talked to my dad yet about this since it just happened, but I wanted to ask if it was being in butthole or was it okay for this situation to insult my grandmother? Adults and the elderly don't like it when they're given a dose of their own medicine. Not the butthole. Emiliano is not a difficult name to pronounce, and your grandmother's not respecting you when she's always mispronouncing it, so why should you respect her? It's a two-way street, and you don't owe her respect just because she's your grandmother. Good on you for sticking up for yourself and calling attention to her BS. Like it literally isn't a hard name to pronounce. None of my friends speak Spanish and say it no problem. As someone who is much closer to your grandma in age than you, I am super proud of you. She has been disrespecting you as a person your whole life by refusing to use your given name. You have shown her how it feels. I don't know how this is going to play out, but kudos to you. If your parents try to discipline you, ask them how you should have approached it. You have asked repeatedly to be called Emiliano and she has ignored your wishes. What else should you have done? If she calls you by your preferred name, you will call her by hers. It's fair. You have limited tools at your disposal. I think you have been very creative in approaching a difficult situation. As already alluded to, his mom will tell him he should have just ignored it, let it happen, and he needs to apologize. Mom is going to be of no help. Rationalizing won't do anything. Be prepared to either take your punishment as long as necessary if you want to hold firm. If you're going to end up giving in to get ungrounded, you might as well do it. Although I agree with sticking to your guns, your household is not the court of law and you have few rights in this regard. Edit gender. Honestly, that is the only enforcement they have here. If original post pushes it enough, not caring about the punishment, then everyone will get sick and tired of it. Honestly, if the grandma ever wants to talk, you should ask her how she felt when you called her Sandy. She feels hella disrespected, that's for sure. But people like that will never learn until they actually have it thrown back in their face. Agreed. Mom might get sick of it after a week, or it could be months. That's why I said just be prepared as long as necessary. Unless mom or some other relative is calling daily to harass her about it, mom will get over it in a few days. Everything she said sounds like it was a heat of the moment thing and she had been super embarrassed when grandma reacted as she did. Logic will work its way in soon enough. Not to totally defend mom, But she lived with that woman 24/7 for years. That's a natural reaction on her part. She's been conditioned to respond how her mother would approve of. The fact that your name is on your birth certificate suggests mom didn't have a fit when you were named, and is perfectly content with your name. I doubt you're going to be punished for very long. That said, when mom mellows out, tell her Grandma Sandy's reaction to being called the wrong name is how you felt every single time you hear her intentionally call you the wrong name, and please point out she never does it to your cousins. I agree with the other posters though. Stand your ground on this, it is important. Logic will work its way, and soon enough somehow I doubt that a woman who sees nothing wrong with people being outright racist to her child but gets upset when her child calls out the racist is going to let logic enter into things at any point. When it comes to things like racism, homophobia, transphobia, and sexism, tolerance is acceptance. Refusing to pick a side is, in itself, picking a side. While I understand your point, and agree to an extent, we're still talking about a parent/child relationship. It is likely Grandma Sandy has steamrolled mom her entire life and mom has just accepted it as the inevitable. I don't see mom as having picked a side, more like she's been browbeaten into submission. Emiliano, on the other hand, hasn't had to live with Grandma Sandy his entire life, so he still has the backbone to stand up to her. I'm not saying mom isn't in the wrong for allowing this to continue this long, I'm saying I can understand why it has. Why not call her abuela or abuelita? Sort of malicious compliance-like? Not the butthole, by the way, but I get you don't want to upset your mum. Edit 1. Thank you user Hyasid Content for the Evil Cackle Award. Edit 2. Geez guys, the awards, y'all are loco. Laughing out loud time, Reddit link. I like this idea. It's not a bad idea, but it misses the mark when it says you don't want to upset your mum. Pardon me for saying this, but if what she is doing is true, then she is worse than the abuela here. She's enabling nastiness and racism toward her child to save face, and teaching an awful lesson to her son. A lesson that says you should just accept abuses from racist or nasty people rather than be encouraged civil disobedience. I'd have a very serious attempt to talk with my mom, and if she didn't get it, she probably wouldn't see me much once I turned 18. Yeah, I can't imagine enabling someone to be openly racist against my own kid. My mom let her family verbally abuse me. My grandmother was abusive to everyone in her own way, but I got the worst of it because of my ethnicity. Both of my parents are unfortunately submissive to racism and white supremacy. They think that both racist and anti-racist ideals are okay to survive in the same space. They think it sucks, but don't poke the bear. I poked the bear at Crafton. I'm the only one in my entire family that stands up for themselves. It got me disowned. I'm changing my name to what it was supposed to be. I was meant to be named after my abuelita, who died before I was born, sometime in the next couple of years. My maternal grandma bullied my mother out of naming me what she wanted to name me. So, I don't even have my father's last name despite my parents being together because my grandmother was embarrassed of my mom for dating outside of her ethnicity and getting knocked up young. Mothers and fathers allowing their children to be exposed to abuse and racism in order to not upset their extended family happens all the time. I have a severe eating disorder and other mental health issues because of it. Props to you for standing up. Alternative, refuse to answer if she uses the wrong name. She's talking to Leo, not original post that would be rude to answer for someone else. This is what my kid did. My in-laws complained about his name when we announced it. I'm Latina, husband is white Midwesterner, their son chose the complicated Spanish name, they insisted they couldn't pronounce it, and would call him Geronimo instead because that's super easy to say, you know. We tried to get them to practice before baby was born, but they insisted it was too hard, so we just said it's whatever, unless the kid minds the nicknames. We dropped it. When my kid was 2, he called himself a toddlerized version of his name, and also refused to answer to anything other than his actual name. We were visiting the in-laws, and mother-in-law called him by their nickname, he ignored her. Father-in-law called him by the nickname, kid ignored him too. They kept trying to get his attention, and he legit sat there playing, not even bothering to look up at them. Husband and I called his name, he answered. Mother-in-law called him by the nickname again, and nothing. Father-in-law too, and nothing. This kept up almost the entire visit, when finally kid said that's not my name. I'm, toddlerized name, not that, and that was the end of it. My in-laws are good eggs most of the time, so they realized they were being buttholes. Your 2-year-old was boss. He's still pretty badass in his tween years. He allows certain nicknames now, but none of them are even remotely related to what Grandma and Grandpa called him back then, and when someone slips and uses those, he flat out ignores them. Lol. I know some people get upset and claim he's being disrespectful, but that's not his effing name, and he knows we have his back. They called him Geronimo? Isn't that a little too racist for your own grandkids? Sweet summer child. Unfortunately, this is not a new thing in families, and it can be hard to realize just how horrible some can be to each other. Imagine if Romeo and Juliet had ended with them getting married and having a few kids. Do you think the grandparents would have been kind to those children? I really like this one. Also, Emiliano is an awesome name. I love it. Stay proud of it, my guy. If Grandma goes by Susan, you could call her Abuelita Sue, Abuelita Suzanne, Abuelita Susie, Abuelita Susie Q, anything but Abuelita Susan. In my experience, if your name is Susan, you are called by one variation only, Susan or Sue or Susie, but never more than one. Unless you are me and don't care that you are called by all three names. Abuela Susana for full Spanishness. Abuela Sandra, to incorporate Spanish and still call her by the wrong name. Lol. You are in fact the first one I've encountered that doesn't have a strong preference. I'm all for the taste of her own medicine treatment, but I can absolutely see any grandparent being upset by their grandchild suddenly using their first name, the correct one. If you call her grandma in Spanish until she says your name right, then she sees how it feels, but you're not actually doing anything. F that. She refuses to address her grandchild by name. That puts her well outside of any grandparent territory and squarely into racist butthole land. Ground needs to be stood. You don't compromise with racism. This was what I thought he was going to say he called her. So he should start doing that now. If it's about respect and not calling elders by their first name, well then he isn't breaking the rules. In fact, since she keeps giving him different names, he should call her grandma in different languages. Babushka one day, another day, oh my yet another. I like the idea, but since her disrespect is rooted in racism against his father's culture, keeping the references from there makes it more effective. Maybe he could vary the names in the same way that English is grand/grandma/grandmother/grandmother/nana/nanny to simulate that trying to find something offensive that will stick vibe that she's giving off. Good point. In any event, I hope Original Post doesn't have to keep getting flack for it and is treated with the same level of respect his nasty elderly relative demands. Oh, this would be good. NTA, and if you are going to apologize, not that you should, but you can have fun with this, do it in Spanglish and do a total non-apology. You know, the kind that says is sorry if I offended you? Abuelita, I'm so sorry if calling you Sandy hurt your feelings. Es sucky, verdad? All the better if she doesn't understand Spanish. This was my thought as well. This is the best answer. What would Emiliano Zapata do? Not the butthole. Respect is earned and names are important to identity. Que viva la raza. Haha, good point. What's with your mother not standing up for you either? If I was you, and I'm beyond petty, I would also refer to mom with the wrong name too. Since she's not showing you any respect, then why should you show her any by calling her mom? Your name is your identity, and it's great that you're young and proud of where you come from. Also, if they're racist and find your name hard to pronounce, then you should give them Mexican names. You know, to help them? Edit, not the butthole, but your mother and grandma are. NTA, yep, the mother's reaction, and failure to stand up against grandmother's actions, is awful. Definitely worthy of pulling the I'm not mad, I am just disappointed in you comment in response to the actions of one's own parent lol. I love that idea. Definitely say that to your mom op. Also, you are 100%, not the butthole. I love what you did. Can't believe grandma didn't see the funny side. If I had to guess, mom knows grandma is much more racist than Original Post realizes and is trying to keep things calm. It's stupid and she should pick her son over racist, but people are dumb when family is involved. I actually low-key wonder if grandma had something to do with Op's parents divorcing. This was literally my first thought. It doesn't make a lot of sense why Grandma would be so mad in the first place. I don't think if it was just about a nickname she would have cared. Op wasn't even that disrespectful, just kind of snarky. We had the same thing happen to one of my cousin's kids. Her name is Isabella. We had been calling her Bella, but she decided she wanted to be Izzy at the age of 4 or 5, and she would correct you every time you called her Bella. We all thought it was cute and went with it. It's very weird to be upset about a child asserting their identity. If this was my mother doing it to my son, I would tell my mother exactly how it's going to be. You're going to call my son by his name, not Leo, not Elliot. You're going to call him by his name. And if you refuse, I will refuse to visit/call/speak to you until you can call my son by his name. A mother should advocate for her son, not for her own mother. Yeah, it looks like everyone's used to having Abuela get her way, and original post is being punished for stirring the pot. Sandy is being disrespectful and demanding obedience. Racists shouldn't be given all this leeway. I really hope Op's mother can read this post and our comments. Blame is not with who stirs the pot, but with who let it be like this for so long that disrespect, xenophobia, and racism is now normalized in the family. What's this supposed to teach Emiliano? That he is less than someone from Scotland? That he needs to be a doormat, bow his head and take it like a Mexicano? F that. NTA. She has had 16 years to learn your beautiful name, and it's not that she can't. It's a choice. Sometimes your self-respect will seem an affront to others. That's their problem. Wow, that second line really hit me. I need to remember that. One of my favorite quotes: if you are willing to look at another person's behavior toward you as a reflection of the state of their relationship with themselves rather than a statement about your value as a person, then you will, over a period of time, cease to react at all. Yogi Bhajan. Beautifully said. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.